Hey folks, it's Ray with Taste Radio. Right now, I am honored to be on a call with Nina Dobrev and Julianne Hough, the co-founders of Fresh Vine Wine. Nina, Julianne, how are you?
Hey, we're doing good.
good.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with me today. I know you're quite busy. But from what I have seen on Instagram, it looks like you guys have, enjoyed a little bit of relaxation over the past few days, perhaps even over the past 24 hours. Nina, I saw a pic of you in a hyperbaric chamber just about 20 hours ago. Can you drink wine in one of those things?
Can you versus should you? Two different questions. I think I've never done it, but now that I think about it, it might be the most extreme version of detox while you retox, because the whole point of a hyperbaric chamber is to heal faster and to speed up your there's so many like healing properties to it. So maybe if you were to drink in the hyperbaric chamber, you would just
Speed up that process.
yeah. I'm gonna try that out.
It seems like it offsets a little bit, but
Yeah.
if it's your wine, you're not really retoxing because you guys make a better for you wine, so to speak.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say, well, if you're drinking fresh vine, you're not really feeling those aftermath effects of the hangover, etc., like you usually do. So, hopefully, yeah, the hyperbaric chamber is not needed.
Probably why I haven't done it yet.
There you go. There you go. I've been into wine for a long time, and I really appreciate the beverage. And from everyone I've spoken to who is also a wino or a wine enthusiast, it seems like there was an experience or a bottle that really shaped their perspective. Was it the same for you guys?
Oh my goodness. I mean, I think years of just traveling and being really fortunate to be surrounded by not just the wineries or the experiences, but the people and the education surrounding it. It's such an art form, and to be able to, I don't know, just celebrate art in a way that, and a craft in a way that we can enjoy life as well as just honor what goes into it. I think that that's just a skill in itself. And so I think just being able to travel around, have these experiences and taste these really incredible luxury wines, we wanted to create something that we could emulate that same experience while being accessible to people, and also making sure that our values and our holistic approach to life wasn't compromised. So that's kind of the inception of what happened, all in the like framework of friendship.
Yeah, and, you guys have been friends for some time. I'm sure you shared a couple bottles of wine from here to there.
Just a
Um, and Well, what's interesting to me is that we've seen so many celebrity-backed beverage brands come to market, specifically in the alcoholic segment, and a lot of them are, sponsorship deals or passion plays, but not necessarily really well-crafted ideas, at least in my opinion. And when I saw Fresh Vine, I saw the business plan. It seemed to me it was really well conceived, and it was something that filled an unmet need in the market, which was amazing. And we often talk about that on our podcast and everything we do, which is when you are coming out with a new brand or a new product, how does it really fit into the marketplace? What does it do differently than what currently exists? And so I wonder, how long has this been in the process of planning? How long were you thinking about launching a wine brand?
Maybe what you're picking up on is the authentic aspect to it, and the fact that this really is a part of who we are. And that's why we're friends. Like, the only reason Julianne and I met and then bonded and stayed together was because we shared the same values, and we both really enjoy life, and we want to indulge in life, and we want to enjoy what life has to offer, but then we also don't want to feel guilty about it, and we still like to be healthy and holistic and think about the world in general and the big picture. And so this just sort of was birthed from within us, and it feels like it's very real, and it's a passion play in our case.
Yeah.
Is what it. Yeah.
Well, and I would say too, probably a couple of years ago, I don't know if it's because you're just getting older or whatever it might be, but I remember it was a few years ago I started drinking wine again, or not again, but I would drink wine and I would start to feel like immediately just, I know I'm not going to feel good tomorrow. And so I cut back on my wine drinking and my, intake, and I would order other things to drink, but it took away the experience of what I love so much about drinking wine. And so the combination of what Nina was saying, which is the authenticity of like wanting to create something that we could have a shared experience doing. So working with Jamey Whetstone, our winemaker, we just were like, we have a great team. That first and foremost, like we just need to say that from the beginning. Like Nina and I, obviously the visionaries behind the company of like what we wanted to create and produce, but we have an incredible team that understands with Jamey and the actual winemaking in itself, but also, our business side. They're incredible, and they
takes a village for sure.
Yeah,
we can't take all the credit.
No, of
we
course
have a
not.
Really amazing team surrounding us, and it feels like a family, which is really cool.
Yeah, and that's like the biggest thing that I've noticed is anytime you start a business, like recognize your skill set and where your talent lies, and stay in your lane and allow everyone else to contribute in their talents. And that's where I feel like we've really created something special here.
Yeah,
for sure. At the same time, it's important to know the business you're in. You may not have to know the minutia of that business, but understand the sort of macro elements of the wine business. How did you teach yourself about wine and winemaking?
As we mentioned before, I mean, it definitely has been years in the making, and it started at a young age, maybe before we were supposed to.
You, I grew up Mormon, so like I didn't start drinking until I was 21.
I'm Bulgarian. I was born in Bulgaria, so I have a very European mentality. So my parents definitely were more liberal, let's put it that way.
But does Bulgaria make good wine, by the way? I don't think I've had a Bulgarian wine.
We chose Napa. But there are Bulgarian wines for sure. They exist.
We chose Napa.
That was a very kind way.
But so anyway, what I was trying to just say though is that what was I trying to say? I think I forgot the original question.
Well, growing up with wine and understanding what you wanted to see out of a wine, but the business of wine itself is something. I appreciate wine. I love the nuances of different varietals, different growing regions, but I don't understand the business of wine probably as much as I probably should, even being, immersed in the business of beverage.
Okay, yes. So I was making the joke about how it started, but then I think both of us were really excited by this idea. It was an inception at first. And over the process, over meeting Jamey and over visiting Napa multiple times and going to the vineyards, like we've really been learning along the way. It's been a very educational process, and it's been really fun. Like that's my favorite thing about life. And I've always said that even though I went to school and then we went to college and all these things, like you never stop learning. And this has been a new venture for both of us. And it's been really fun to taste and test and sort of discover what we like about wines, what we don't like about. Like it used to be so black and white as I was younger, and as we've gotten older, our palates have definitely matured and gotten more sophisticated. And Julianne's in particular, she's much better at being able to articulate like the sense. Like we have very different languages of descriptions, but I'll let you take it from here.
No, I think that's obviously like amazing, and what you were just saying, and the fact that like you enjoy wine greatly, but like why is it important for us to actually create a company, and like what's going to set us apart from it? And I think that the thing that excited me about actually starting this company together is that I love community. I love people. I want to understand their behaviors. I want to know the psychological like things that are going on, why they want to drink wine, what it is that they're drinking it for. Is it to relax? Is it to unwind? Is it to be energized? Whatever it is, got me really excited. Like how do we create something that is new in this marketplace where it doesn't feel so far away and so inaccessible to people to have an experience like this, but give it to them in a way that they feel it's aspirational, that they've just enjoyed and indulged in something that was maybe outside of their range, and then at the same time have it be accessible to everybody. And so again, I keep going back to our team. We have an incredible team who've worked in beverage for a really long time, and so we're also learning as we go what the best market and the community, but it's really about the people. And I think that's what is exciting for us is, yes, the wine it's in itself, the people in itself, and then the actual there's a third layer to it, which I think is the respect of wine and the winemaking process and the years of family estates, etc. And we understand we're these new young females coming in being like, let's do a wine company, because we love people and we love experience and friendship. But it's political, and there's things that you need to understand. We're the new kids on the block, so how do we pay our respect and our dues and make sure that we're doing this in an appropriate way that's honoring what has come before us, and at the same time trying to break through and bring innovation to it.
Yeah, that could have been interesting if you named the wine brand New Kids on the Block. I think you probably would have run into
that would have been a whole other marketplace.
Yeah, for sure. You talked about your team. You talked about people's being so important. I would assume that you guys would be able to pick and choose who you would want to be involved in this company. How do you land on Jamey? How did you vet potential partners and potential winemaking partners and land or decide to partner with him?
Human first, energy first. Mm-hmm. If we met with a lot of people, and again, he is just so down to earth, loves music, loves the experience, has been in Napa for a really long time. He has respect, he has the credibility, and he has relationships, and they've been there and sturdy for a very long time. And you can really tell a lot about a person when you look at the relationships and the length that they have and the longevity that they've had in their community. And Jamey is very well respected. So first and foremost, the impact of the human.
Yeah, and also just it has to be symbiotic, because we need to have that connection, and we've reached an age where life's way too short to be working with people that we don't want to spend a lot of time with, because we really are spending a lot of time with each other, and we want to have fun and make it a good experience. And so we want to surround ourselves with good people on top. It's talent and energy, and we really just have that connection.
And he really is that perfect combination.
And he's so passionate. Yeah. It's so exciting, and he's been so patient. He's taught us so much. It's just been such a fun experience to
he sends us videos every day, at the vineyard, showing us everything, and we'll get on FaceTime, and
it's been a little harder with COVID to not be able to...
Exactly.
I wonder, being in show business, you all have a BS meter that I'm sure is pretty well tuned at this point. And there's some BS that goes on in the wine business. How do you, I guess, determine where the BS is and might land when you're working with partners in this business?
That's a great question. I don't know. I'm huge into the intuitive gut instinct, and we've been around it a lot where people give you a lot of yeses and enthusiasm with their face and their energy, but
not with their actions.
And it's a hollow experience with them, and so you can just feel it immediately. And when you're really tuned in, and when you have a trust like Nina and I do for each other, you can it's easy to call out. And I think the fact that
that's why we get along so well too, because we do call each other out on everything.
Yeah. And also,
and we have each other's backs also. we've discovered it's been I'm happy in this
I'm happy
partnership.
in this relationship
Okay,
too.
me too.
No, we call each other out on everything, whether it's through, friendship, relationships, whatever it may be, or through business. And we've had conversations like that. And I think, a lot of people are like, don't work with family, don't work with friends if you want to continue your relationship. But that's just for people who don't know how to communicate. And when you have a relationship where communication and like integrity and just trust in each other and want to see the other person grow and that you're going to be in that together, that's the kind of relationship and friendship that I want to invest my time in. And so we do that. And we've had multiple conversations through business, through this venture, where we've had to be like, hey, like that wasn't cool, or like, hey, how can we make this better? Yeah. Let's communicate this way.
But I think through those experiences, that's what, because this isn't the first time, even in our friendship, we've had that. But those experiences are what make us stronger and make us grow. And I think that's why we're friends, because we can have those tough conversations and be honest with each other and come from a place of love.
Yeah.
And growth. And it's been,
Yeah, I mean, co-founders, go through a lot, and it's really important to have those open lines of communication. I would think that trying to problem solve within a relationship based on friendship and one that's based on business are, I would think, two different things. And you almost have to have two different kinds of conversations. But correct me if I'm wrong. Is that the case for you guys, or do you approach problem solving in the same way, whether it's friendship or business?
I think a couple of things came to mind when you just asked that question. And one of them is kind of what I said before, like, know your skill set, and we don't have to do everything together. So like the things that really inspire Nina and that she's great at, I'm not great at. So like, let Nina run with that. And I'm not going to feel like I have to do that, or she doesn't feel like I have to do that either. And then where I really thrive, like, let me, like, don't clip my wings, baby, And so it's like,
we let each other do our thing, and like, we're in the process, of course, but we never try to overstep or like suffocate each other with like I know what I'm good at, she knows what she's good at, and we both kind of like, we're good at delegating, which is kind of hard. It's like, in the past I've noticed that like anything else I've started, I'm such a control freak, and I think she's such a control freak in her own thing, that we were both nervous that in this venture we would try to but we didn't. We both were like, oh yeah, you do this, okay, yeah. How do you feel about, like, we're just really, maybe it's an age thing. As we've gotten older, we've really learned how to communicate with each other.
I think it's also like in your 20s, and especially in the industry that we're in, we're actors, we're entertainers. So like, we're focusing on us, like as individuals. And later on in life, like, you're, especially starting a company that has a product, you're not thinking about yourself anymore. You're thinking about the product. You're thinking about the people that are going to be experiencing it. You're thinking about how you're contributing to the world. And so there's a new layer of, I think, human development where you start thinking about other people, and collaboration is key. And so I think we've hit that point in our lives where it's not about just us anymore. It's about us.
Let's talk about the product itself and how you communicate the attributes your products to end consumers. You know, I wrote this down, and this is how you describe the wine. Wines that embody health, warmth, and a deeper connection to wellness and an active lifestyle. So I mentioned this earlier. Is fresh fine wine a better for you wine? I know that's kind of a slippery slope because you're not really supposed to call alcoholic beverages better for you or healthy. But is that essentially what you're selling?
I can only speak from my personal experience. And I can tell you that one of the other reasons why we wanted to create this was because I, for a long time, didn't know that my body couldn't handle wine, because not all wine is gluten-free, and not all wine is made through the vegan process. And so it's just like, I would do it because I just didn't know, and it didn't feel good. And then eventually, once I found out, I stopped drinking it. And we wanted to create a product that literally makes me, like, I don't feel sick from it. Mm-hmm. And then Julianne's experience is a little bit different, and she's like, no, I actually don't feel hungover because the sugar content, which gives you a headache,
it's much lower. Yeah,
it's much lower, and so you can drink more of our wine without feeling as, I don't know if we're allowed to swear on this podcast.
Sure, of course, go ahead.
Shitty. You don't feel as shitty the next day. And we've, like we said, we've done a lot of research and we've had a lot of our wine to tell you that like it would take a lot to really make a dent, and that's why we love it so much, because you don't feel shitty and you feel great.
If you make a product that makes people feel shitty, you're probably not making a very good product.
Yeah, exactly.
You're probably not going to be very successful.
To go back to your question about healthy, like what does health mean to you? What does it mean to us? Like, to me, healthy means happy. Am I happy? Am I creating a life full of memories with the people I love? And
am I choosing consciously what I'm putting in my
exactly.
body versus not? And I think that with Fresh Vine, we're giving an option for people to make a choice, and one that they don't feel like they have to sacrifice the premium luxury experience and taste. And I think that that's been the exciting part, is we've tried other, healthy, low-cal wines, and it's like, like this does not taste good. And we've talked to our friends and they've tried them and they're like, oh man, you're doing a low-calorie wine, like good luck with that. And it was so important for us to make sure that like we're not just trying to cash out on an idea of low-calorie wine without creating something that is sustainable in the way that people are going to want to continue to like back this wine, and I think belief, I think people like want to believe in something and they want to get behind it, just the same way that they would get behind a liqueur, like it's like that's my wine because it makes me feel this way. And it's like, man, if we can create an experience and a way for people to have an emotional reaction to our wine, they're going to want to drink this wine more. And so, it's a win-win for everyone. The more we produce, the more people experience and create memories. And so, I talk a lot about, especially thinking of like business. It's like we used to think, physically in times of work back in like, fight or flight mode, like we used our muscles. We're using our brain right now to create business. And I think where we're heading is using our heart. And I think when we think about our heart and how we create impact in business, even through wine, like what is the purpose of drinking wine in general? And it's to bring people together, it's to create memories, it's to have a shared experience. It's also a sensory experience. When you breathe in, when you smell, when you taste, when you feel the texture going in, you're actually creating new connectors in your brain, new memories. And so if you can create an experience with sense memory or whatever it may be, you're creating a new memory of experience and joy and happiness. And we just want to put joy and happiness out into the world, especially right now.
Yeah, it needs it big time.
Yeah, I mean, the emotional connection that people feel when they are drinking wine, for me, seems like it's top of the list. It's top of the list in terms of why they're drinking wine. There are some key elements to your wine that are different, Nina, as you mentioned, than other wines. Gluten-free, low-carb, low-calorie, keto, vegan-friendly. Do any of those terms, those trend terms, I'll call them, rise to the top in terms of importance for your customers? Are they looking for gluten-free wines? Are they looking for keto-friendly wines? Or is it, again, just sort of a holistic approach to here's what we are, or just essentially a better for you wine that everyone can enjoy?
I think it's a combination of both.
Yeah, I think it's all of the above. I mean, we this is what we believe in. So it's what we wanted to put out because that's what we want. And hopefully there will be a marketplace that also needs and wants that, and if they respond to that, but it had to be authentic to us. And the reason why we created it is because we feel like there's a gap in the market and there's people like us out there that want to experience this as well.
And I think like price point range too, like people go and they look up wines and they see a price point, and what's also different about this price point. Even though there's a $21 bottle of wine, there's 100 of them. So what makes this different? And to actually put it out there, I think that's the big difference. Is a lot of wine companies in the past didn't want to put out that they were, if they were vegan or whatever, it just didn't matter. But it matters to people now because they're more conscious of what the impact of longevity of their life. And so I think people are looking for, and whether it's a trend or a fad or whatever, like, we just want to be transparent with what it is, and if that fits your lifestyle, like, we've got it. And if you're not vegan, but for some reason in your head you feel like maybe this makes me feel like a better person, I'm gonna drink this wine. So I think we're just being transparent about what it is, and because we believe in it, we actively try to make that be the case.
The other part of your brand that really stuck with me in terms of how you describe it is the word fresh. Obviously, it's in the name. It's the name of your brand. And I really like it. I wonder how many people might find it a little counterintuitive in that wine is often aged. Almost all wine is aged. When you were deciding on the name of the brand, did that issue come up?
Do you remember earlier in the interview we talked about New Kids on the Block?
Yeah. Yes.
We're fresh, baby. Okay.
No, I think fresh. In the way I by the way, as you were asking the question, I was like, I know we're gonna get to this place of like, but aged, it doesn't necessarily feel fresh. But I look at it different. Like I see like aged, or an elderly woman or whatever, like, they can still be fresh. You know what I mean? Like,
age is just a number.
And it's like, yes, it's aging in the barrel or in the steel, barrel, whatever it is. But there's a quality of it that makes you feel clean, that makes you feel fresh, that makes you feel like when it goes into my body, I feel bright, and I think that, or I feel full, or whatever it is that you describe fresh to be for you. So I think when you think of fresh, obviously it is what it is. But when you think of wine, like, again, it's like energy behind it. It's like we want people to feel alive when they drink our wine. And it doesn't matter how old you are or how old the wine is, like, you're going to be alive by drinking this. You're going to feel good.
It's more of a lifestyle choice, and it's more of the way you'll feel after drinking the wine. Instead of feeling down and bogged down and heavy, you're going to feel fresh, because you're not going to feel, to paraphrase myself, shitty. That's just my runner. I'm going to keep going with it.
I think it's a great tagline. Drink this wine, you won't feel shitty like you would with other wines. I think that's totally fine.
You get me.
Straightforward. Yeah. Well, the name, based on what you guys were just talking about, seems to be more representative of the person who's drinking the wine than the wine necessarily itself. So who is this product for? Is it for wine drinkers like yourselves? You see an audience that can expand over time, or are you looking at a certain type of consumer at this point?
That's the thing. We've done a lot of taste testing, and we've been doing a lot of market research before we launched officially. Yeah. We put it out there because we didn't want anyone to know it was our brand. We wanted to actually get real feedback. And that was what was so interesting, is that it wasn't just one specific. I mean, there's the obvious. There's the people like us that want to be healthy and want to be able to work out and enjoy their life. So that sort of like fit community is a given. But we've had wine snobs taste our wine and not know that it has the health benefit, not the health, but the low calorie and the sugar, the lower sugar and the no additive. We've gotten
very, very surprised by it.
Yeah, very, very positive feedback from older, younger, sort of like a wide net. And that's what was so exciting to us. And that's why we feel like we're onto something really special, and why it confirms that our passion and our excitement for this new venture is valid, and it keeps giving us this extra wind and excitement to keep going.
And I think it's not so much about demographic. I think it's more psychographic, and like who is this person in their life, and are they making these choices for them either individually or as like distribution goes. Obviously, like we want people who are, you know, we want to be in Whole Foods, we want to be in Kroger, we want to be in, you know, the accessible place where people are picking up a bottle of wine and they're going to see their friends, they're going to go do this. And then we also have plans because of the healthy, fit nature of what this wine represents to, you know, I don't know if we're allowed to say it, I think we are, but like to go into stadiums and you know, and to work with athletics teams and, you know, sports teams, and, you know, what is the customer that's coming, I hate that word, what is our guest coming to do when they come and watch sports and enjoy themselves, and while they're watching, you know, this like healthy active thing, like instead of pounding down something that's just gonna be awful, like why not have something that represents what they're also experiencing with their eyes, with their own experience that way. So I think for our consumer, you know, we do have plans to grow and like where we're heading, all the while, like, you know, just really again focusing on the people and their beliefs versus and their bank accounts, to be honest. You know, like we want to make sure that people can, you know, afford this, and that it's not just going to be like a luxury thing that they're going to like hold on to for the next, you know, 10 years, but something that it's a regular and it's a familiar product that they can always go to.
Yeah, you know, Julianne, you mentioned accessibility. And one of the things that surprised me when I started learning more about fresh vine was the price point. I was expecting, as a low-calorie, low-carb wine brand, a sort of, you know, a price point that was within the $10 to $15 range. And a number of your wines are significantly more expensive than that, significantly, you know, $6, $7, $10, et cetera, which puts it in a slightly different tier for wine. How did you think about price point? Were you looking for just the best product that you could put out there and that's the price it is? Or was it a little bit more of, hey, you know, we think that accessibility is this price point that we're currently at?
I just want to reconfirm, you have tried our wine, right?
Of course, yes.
Okay, good. Because we had it right here. I was about to be like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think there's a difference from our experience and what we've tried in that category and what our wine tastes like that feels like it warrants a higher price point, because there's like a fullness, and we don't jeopardize any of that premium experience for the lower carb, keto, like all the benefits. Like it doesn't feel like it's in the same league to us. We're obviously biased, but that's our experience.
And I also think like just cost wise for the production of the wine, to have it be at the level that we would otherwise not approve. You know, like we obviously, it is in a more expensive tier than some other low calorie, but that's what sets us apart, is that it's accessible and aspirational at the same time. Because you realize when you taste our wine that it tastes luxury, it tastes premium, and you would never know. And so I think people would, and are, as we've seen, willing to pay a few dollars more to have that experience, and also feel good at the end of the day. So it's very specific of what that price point is, and it was a clear decision of why we did that.
Yeah, absolutely. And Nina, by the research I did was the research prior to tasting the product. So again, comparing Fresh Vine to other brands that are out there, you do make an excellent product. Your Pinot in particular, I really enjoyed. And I feel like, again, if I didn't know that you were marketing a low calorie, low carb, gluten friendly wine, I would just be like, hey, I mean, I like this on its own. I don't have to really, make that determination or make that decision about why I'm drinking it. I'm just enjoying it, period. That being said, with the quality of the wine, with the better for you aspect of it, with that, the great labels design, the package design is outstanding, by the way, in my opinion as well. It feels like the brand could get off the ground and grow pretty well without celebrity involvement, without a lot of push on your end. That being said, what do you see as the most effective way that you can impart your quote unquote celebrity into promoting this brand?
Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you so much. That is the greatest compliment we could ever receive. Anytime you start a company, the product has to speak for itself. The added benefit of having a celebrity behind it is for marketing, really, at the end of the day. But like, the product should speak for itself, and that is the greatest compliment. So thank you so much for saying that. And as for what we can do to back it is just our belief in our story, and the fact that we have shared many glasses of wine through heartbreak, through experience, through laughter, through love,
celebration,
everything. And that's at the center of our friendship, and like, or our friendship is at the center of our wine. It's interchangeable, and so it's really storytelling. It's who we are and why we believe in the product.
Do you have to be really prescriptive and somewhat cautious about how you incorporate Fresh Vine into your social platforms like Instagram? Because I see the brand quite a bit in both of your accounts. And I wonder, is the way that you describe and is the way that you talk about how you consume the wine and what types of settings, is that something that is just, hey, we're going to do this on our own? Or do you have a social team that really helps you to craft stories that are going to resonate with potential consumers?
For our personal social media, we both do our personal.
Yeah, we just do our own.
We do have somebody that helps us with Fresh Vine, but we're also like doing it and cover captions and all of that as well. And I think it's more just having a regular template of other someone to manage and help us respond. But
we've been very, very hands-on in that department. Like, we've been around from the inception of social media, and I mean,
you can feel it when someone's just selling you something,
or if it's actually coming from you.
Yeah.
And it's like we've said, the reason why we did all this is because we're doing this anyway. Like, whether there was a camera in front of us, we were drinking the wine behind the scenes or in front of the scenes. So we were like, let's just put it out there. Like, we're really, really fucking excited about this. Again, but not really sorry for swearing. It's just something that we're passionate about. And so it's easy and it's fun. And like, our work day to create the content with the photos of the wine that we've been posting was just us hanging out at our house with like a photographer and friends and other people that we love spending time with. And we were actually drinking, and so the laughter is genuine in the photos. And
well, even like, and we're just, I'm gonna talk like,
it's candid moments and candid life experiences and shared experiences. And so it's just it's a true representation of who we are, and it feels authentic. And hopefully, I think that's what you're saying, is that
it doesn't look like you have a social media manager.
Good.
Sort of overseeing how you curate your timelines, and I feel like authentic is a fair word. It feels like it's a natural incorporation into your lives. I wonder if that, might drive your attorneys crazy because, you might say something in a caption or take a picture of something that they're like, you can't do that, especially when it comes to alcohol. Has that come up yet?
We've been briefed on what the
say.
rules are, and we have to in the captions, if you'll notice, you'll see that it says for 21 or over and guidelines. We've been briefed. For sure. You don't, when you're coming from a personal place, you don't know, but from the company, It has to be positioned in a different way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Julianne, you were about to say something. You were about to say, I'll say this about how we craft our social media.
I was also going to just say, I think, again, from a trust perspective, it's like Nina and I, we have actually very different approaches for our own personal social media. I think a lot of people get different things from us, and I'll just speak on my side. I'm very open about mental health and being healthy and active, as well as feeling your emotions, and I'm very that spiritual woo-woo hippity dippity person, right? So it's so me, but it's also I don't have a big filter when it comes to that kind of stuff. So when it comes to posting about wine, it could feel wait, but you're promoting healthy lifestyle. But because I'm so honest and people know it's about balance, it's about certain things, there's a trust because there's never been a front, there's never been a filter of I have to be this and portray myself this way. And I feel the same way with Nina. You get what you see, and with our wine, we want the same thing. You don't have to be one person or one version of yourself, just a part of you. You're all the things. And so, being open and expressive about those things, I think is really important. And because of that, we've been able to have a trust where it doesn't feel oh, you're promoting this, but you're also this. And so I think, again, like I said, I'll just speak for me because that's definitely what I promote heavily, as far as lifestyle goes and what I believe in. And people it feels authentic because I still drink wine as well as meditate, So yeah.
Well, social media has opened the door to direct communication with your fans and with your consumers. And it's one way to sort of talk to them about the product. As the world reopens, I wonder if you'll have more direct communication with consumers via tasting events or a wine room, a tasting room. Is that all in play in 2021 and beyond?
I hope so. Sooner rather than later. It'd be nice to get out and in front of a screen.
No, yeah, we definitely have plans for that. I mean, even with the launch of our rosé coming out, we were even trying to figure out a way to do something small and obviously socially distanced and still safe. But
soon, very soon.
Yeah,
so
but that's
we
part
hope
of
that
it.
pans out. And now that everyone's getting vaccinated, I can feel an energy as though things are starting to open up again, which I'm really excited about and have a little bit of anxiety about. But that's where the wine helps.
Evens it out.
Yeah, helps you feel a little less anxious in those scenarios.
Feels like there's a real opportunity now with so many people focused on health or better for you consumption, to reach those consumers. I mean, if you just look at the rise of hard seltzers, people are drinking so many of those. Why? Because they are low calorie, they are low carb, and it's just a good alternative to not feeling the heaviness of cocktails or beer, etc. And I mean, is that something you're actively taking a look at this point? Is holistically, what does this market look like and how do we fit into it? Or is it very much at this point still, let's focus on wine drinkers and ones that we can reach via our communication and our positioning, because it seems like there's a lot of ways you can go. So I guess the question in a nutshell is, do you care about hard seltzer drinkers at this point? Do you care about cocktail drinkers at this point? Or is it, once again, sort of staying in your lane in that wine, for that wine consumer?
At this moment in time, we care about we care about everyone. We don't not like anyone, but our focus is our wine and our consumer and whoever would be interested in ours. We're not looking to convert the heavy ginners or the tequilas into, if they have an interest in trying something, great, then great. If they don't, then they don't. And I think you can take, especially when our rosé comes out, which I'm so excited because it's so good. I think it's my new favorite.
Yeah.
That one would be the best, like bridge and summer cocktail, and you can bring that to the beach, and you can bring that to a friend's baby shower. Or there's just so many, like, there's no occasion that a rosé is not appropriate for, in my opinion. So I'm excited about that.
Well, I agree. Rosé all day, rosé any time of the year. It's very, very refreshing, and it's a fun beverage. It's just like you don't really have to think about it too much. It's just like I'm just enjoying this. It doesn't have to be any food. Well, I really hope to try your rosé in the near future whenever it comes out, and it would be great to share a glass with you at some point. Hopefully, there is a tasting room impending in Napa that we can come and visit. But yeah, in the meantime, this has been such a great conversation. Thank you both so much for the time. I really appreciate it, and I can't wait to share this with our audience. I have a feeling they're going to really love it.
Oh, of course. Thank you so much for asking thoughtful and wonderful questions. It's been a pleasure. Hopefully we get to do this in person at some point.
Yes, I would love to do that. And thank you for creating Fresh Vine Wine. It's a really great brand you guys have come up with.
Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day, and thank you for having us.